Hey, it's your girl Lacey. I'm coming to you with a review for the assassination of Gianni Versace. Let's get into it. Okay, so the beginning of the episode starts with Gianni and Antonio walking into what looks like a hospital or a medical facility. And Gianni is not walking right. He has no balance. Antonio, he's holding his hand out so Antonio can hold him. And Antonio, he cuffs his arm and he holds him right, and he's walking. He seems to have like blurred vision. His health seems to be completely compromised. Um, he looks into this glass and he sees two, I believe, two men, and they are like skeletal. They're hooked up to IVs. I think there's blood and saline and maybe some morphine. They look like either they're on hospice care or they're going about to start hospice care. So they look like they were actively dying. And he looks very gloom about it because I believe he might have been diagnosed HIV positive. They started showing scenes of different blood work going on, different blood things going on. He either has HIV or leukemia. Um, I'm, he could have either. He can have a number of things. It seems as if they're implying he was HIV though. So he gets in office. Before he gets into the office, there's a black female doctor. She told Gianni basically, "Darling, there are no cameras. Um, there are no photographers or journalists here. So you don't have to. Basically, you don't have to be ashamed." So he takes his hood off, but I think he keeps his glasses on. So Gianni and Antonio and herself, they get into the her office, and he's talking. She's saying that there are tests we can run, there are treatments we can do that'll help you, that are medications that will help improve you, your health for now. And he starts talking about his sister Tina, his oldest sister. Because apparently there was Tina himself and then Donatello. Tina was very sick. She had something with peritonitis or periodontosis or something to that effect. His parents couldn't handle him and Tina's sickness at the same time, so they sent Gianni to his uncle and his aunt's house. Um, he couldn't be away from his family for long, so he ran away from his aunt and uncle's house, and he came back. His sister was dead, and she was in a casket. He said it was a white casket with flowers, and that she looked very beautiful. And he said nobody told him she was sick. Nobody let him know. Nobody even said anything or hinted about her dying. He only found out because he came back home. That's a fucked up way to find out that your sister is dead, but hey, this is American Crime Story, so that's American Horror Story. All of the stories are going to be a little fucked up, which is why they're being told, and I'm kind of here for it, so whatever. Um, so he starts to say, always from then on, I always felt that if anyone got sick, they could be, it can get better. That immensely confused me because his sister did not get better. She died. I mean, if you think of her getting better as far as her, leaving this dimension and becoming your ancestor, then yeah, you're right on the money. She became better. But as far as her being in this dimension, she didn't get better. She just died. So I was completely confused by that line. It was like, I don't know why you thought that she died, baby. She didn't get better. She didn't get better at all. So then we have a scene. We go straight to his house, Gianni's house, in Gianni's bedroom. He's laying down in bed. Antonio was tending to him. They're talking, lovers. They're just caressing him and giving him comfort right now because he just got some devastating news, and it is really what it is. So he's talking to him, holding his hand, caressing him, loving him, being attentive. And Donatella comes in, she's smiling, and she just looks at Antonio and she says, well, I need a moment alone with my brother. So he smiles at Gianni and he walks out. She talks to Gianni and she says, what will Versace be without you? And he said, it will be you. And she's like, well, quite frankly, what will I be without you? And he basically told her, you're about to find out. So she smirked, and she just laid on his chest. It sounded like it was a little bit of crying, a little bit of laughing, some kissing involved, brother and sister time, especially at this, you know, this dark hour. So then the scene shoots to uh, Antonio and Gianni on the beach, and they're walking, and Antonio is expressing his frustration with his illness, and he's like, I can't, if I was ever sick or sad or mad or angry, I would just create, but now I'm just too weak, I'm too sick, I can't do anything. And you can see his frustration, and it kind of kills you to see that. It's like, I mean, yeah, it's he's crippled for the moment by his illness, and he's like, for the first time in my life, I'm jealous. I'm jealous of him, jealous of her, I'm jealous of everybody because I can't do anything. And he was like, I just want it out of me. I just want it out of my love. Just get it out of me. And he starts crying and weeping, and that tore me up because I hate to see a man cry. I know men are people and they have a right to express themselves, but it just makes you really it makes me kind of just sad when men cry. It's like an extra sadness. I don't know why. It just throws me off. Isn't not used to seeing it, but again, they're people. You can cry. You're a person. But so Antonio was just comforting him. He was like, he doesn't understand how it feels, but he's there for him. Now, I don't know if Antonio has it as well, or if Gianni is the only one who has it. They didn't really expound on that. It looks as if Gianni is the only one who is possibly infected with this virus. So they come on back to the house. Antonio's trying to help him up. Donatella is at the gate smoking, blonde, with her blonde hair, and that's a pink dress. It's like a hot pink, and I think she looks so stunning. I think Penelope Cruz is doing a great job playing Donatella Versace. She looked great. Her accent is weird, and I don't know how her teeth are going, but I'm pretty sure that's probably how the real Donatella talks. So she's probably dead on the money. But he comes up to the gate, and he was there trying to help him, but they don't really want to deal with one another. He's like, listen, I need both of y'all to get y'all shit together. I cannot do this and be sick if y'all are not going to be a team. I need you to be a team. I love you both, and I need you to love me. And through loving me, basically, I need y'all to love each other and get this together. And so they're really reluctant to, but they do it because they love Gianni. And so then as the scene flashes forward, this is after Gianni has been assassinated, after he's been murdered. And, Antonio is trying to talk to Donatella. And Donatella's like, what, listen, I don't like you. And Gianni is not here anymore. So we don't have to pretend. So all that Donatella, yeah, goodbye. I don't want to deal with you. And I was like, oh, damn, what did he do? I'm like, this is the second episode, so I know Ryan Murphy is going to go into greater detail and let us know. I'm like, because I'm trying to figure out what this nigga did and what he do. Like, you see, he's real harsh towards him. Like, geez, man, is it that deep? Goodness. So, she doesn't want to deal with him. She gets dressed to go basically to a private viewing for Gianni. She's getting ready. His body is being reconstructed because Andrew shot him twice in the face with 40 caliber bullets. And this part of his face, there's a big hole. There's a big hole here and here. But this part is like there's a hole, and then the meat on this side of his face is blasted off. So, the mortician, with his forensic science and his mortuary science, he has to reconstruct his entire face. I'm really interested in mortuary science because that seems like a great thing to really go into, to learn that. I mean, I think it might take a toll on you with so many people dying and having to fix their face and skulls and organs and all the rest of that there going on there. But they did a great job fixing Gianni's face. Um, and then she comes through. She sees him. She has his suit ready. She gets him dressed, and and she cries, and she just basically like, "Oh, my brother, I love you, amor mio." And I thought it broke my heart to see that, to see somebody that loved their family so much and their family be taken from them so violently for no reason. You know, I was so confused, like because she had him cremated. I'm like, okay, she had him fixed up to get him cremated, but then I was like, what I didn't like, I hated Gianni's tie. I'm like, who the fuck picked that tie? That is an ugly tie. That tie looks like a heterosexual picked that tie. That's what that tie looks like. But it was the '90s, so I'm like, all right, I'll give it a pass. But it's still, it's fugly. I don't like the tie. A heterosexual picked that tie. It's fugly. I'm not with it. Not at all. So, she has him cremated. They scoop the ashes out, put it in a bag, put in a little something, put it in a golden, squared, a rectangular rather, urn, and they, put a ribbon on it and flowers, and they hand it to Donatella. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Um, and then she gets on the plane, and then she says, "I cannot believe he survived all of this just to die this way." And I was actually thinking about that right before she said it. And I was like, we're absolutely here with it. And I can't believe he did survive that. Almost dying, didn't die, comes back from the brink of death. Just so he could get shot like a dog in front of his house. I'm like, fuck. What was so interesting is when I was watching one of the Who is Andrew Cunanan backstory shows of him and Gianni Versace, who killed Gianni Versace, um, they were talking, the man who's on America's Most Wanted, he was saying that he always said that he preferred America over Italy because America is safer than Italy is because there's a lot of mafia and gang activity in Italy. And he said the irony is that he thought that this country was safer and he was murdered here. And I was like, that's terrible. That is absolutely terrible. He could have died in Italy for all that. But anyway, going on. So she takes him and his remains, takes Gianni's remains back to Italy. I didn't like the fact that Antonio didn't get a chance to. It seemed like Antonio didn't get a chance to see him before she had him cremated. I didn't think that was fair. They were together. I don't know if that really happened or not because the family really wasn't interested in being involved in this project. The same way Aaliyah's family wasn't interested in being involved in that Aaliyah movie, but this show is a lot classier. Thank goodness. Because I don't think people would allow them to do to Gianni what they did to Aaliyah, which is unfortunate for Aaliyah, but yeah, I'm glad. Because that was trash, Wendy. Go fuck yourself, Wendell Williams. You're a terrible person. So, yeah, she gets on the plane. She takes her remains back to Italy. And then we shoot to Andrew. Andrew is in a red pickup truck. He's driving from, I believe, New Jersey to Miami. As he's driving, he's listening to the news. One of the news stories says that Lee McGlynn was murdered, and the suspect is Andrew Cunanan, that does not surprise me because he's nuts. He's a complete whack job. And he was like, they're looking for him and everything. And he was like happy that he's famous. And through me watching the different interviews about Andrew, he always wanted to be somebody. He wanted to be famous. He wanted to be important. And he didn't care how he got to be famous, how he got to be important. He just simply didn't care. And I'm like, that really bothered me because it's like, this man is insane. And it shows some people they will kill for fame, unfortunately. Um, so he's happy about him being on the all over the place on the news. He's on the FBI's most wanted list. They're looking for him everywhere, and then the song Gloria comes on, and I thought the song was befitting because it starts talking about, different having different aliases, and then they know who you are, and was it something that they said, and it was, the song really fit him, and I think that's why they picked it. And I thought it was nice. So he pulls up to this pink and green, mostly pink hotel. It was called the Normandy Plaza. Plaza, probably. I say Plaza. I don't know. So he pulls in, and as he's walking in, he sees some guys. One of the guys, we later find out his name is Ronnie, but they're just on outside hanging out, and he goes in, talks to a lady. I think her name is Miss Rosa or something. I don't quite know. I could be wrong. Um, And he tells her, I'm here um, to be a fashion student. I'm here to make my way in the world, and I have to see Mr. Versace. And he starts talking to her about the collagen or something, collagen skirt with a denim shirt that Mr. Versace was daring with to mismatch that up together. And she's like, listen, I don't know anything about fashion or Versace, but how does $30 a night sound? And he was like, oh, it sounded great. She's like, all right, cool. Make sure you pay in advance because, there have been people who have left without paying. He's like, are you serious? The people have not paid you? Like, yeah. She said one time there was a man, I had to chase him down for 2 blocks. He said, did you catch him? She's like, God, no. I wasn't interested in catching him. I just didn't want to lose my job. I wanted to just look like I gave a fuck, like I actually care without actually caring. I love those type of people, but just love them. They're wonderful. They're not so stressful. They're not one of those people who, you're not even good enough to be an assistant manager, but you think you run things and you always got to tell on people. Like, see, this is why you're not an assistant manager, sis. The manager doesn't like you. That's exactly why. You're blocking your blessings. Stop being a tattletale. You're too fucking old. So, anyway, so she gives him a key. He goes up there. He sees a room, and he wanted the view so he can stalk Gianni and he can look at the beach and everything. His room facing a brick wall. So he goes back to the mirror and he starts practicing what he's going to say to her. He goes downstairs and he's like, hey, I don't mean to bother you, but I really want to, I need to see the ocean view. I need to see the water. And she was like, okay, I'll give you the key, but don't let anybody know I gave it to you because I don't want nobody thinking I'm soft. I went soft on you. And he was like, thank you. So he goes into his room. The room is terrible, but the balcony is beautiful. To me, the hotel seems like one of those hotels where it looked real nice before the crack era hit, and then after crack, during and after crack, they just let that shit be what it is. That's what it looks like. It looked like one of those buildings that when it first was built, it was everything, and then about 15, 20 years later, it's like, all right, go ahead and do what you're going to do with this, and just let it be. So he's on his balcony. He sees Ronnie. Ronnie sees him. They're talking about some girl who got arrested. She went to jail probably for prostitution or for drug possession, probably both. So Andrew comes down. He talks to Ronnie. He introduces himself, and he's like, oh, my name is Andy. He was like, well, I thought you told old girl your name was Kurt. He was like, my name is Andy. And he's basically talking to him a little bit, making small chat, and he was like, know any place where you can score. And so he's just like, yeah, and they're walking and talking, and they're talking about the ropes on the beach and everything, and he's like, well, I don't do that type of work anymore. And he's like, well, look at me, And he was like, well, did you have a bad experience? He said, I surely didn't have. Andy asked Ronnie, did you have bad experience? Ronnie was like, I surely didn't have a good one. And Ronnie told Andy that he did contract HIV. And Andy was like, in San Francisco, I worked as an AIDS awareness volunteer, and people would come to me if they needed help. They came to me if they wanted something. They came to me for anything that they needed, and I was like the go-to guy. And then he was like, Ronnie asked Andy, "Are you sick?" And Andy said, "No." We know that Andy's health is compromised, that he more than likely in this series, I don't know about in real life, but in this series, he more than likely does have HIV because of that, how sickly he was in the first episode and the lesion on his leg. So he more than likely does have it. He probably is not showing just yet, but the symptoms will occur. He probably got like 8 or 10 more episodes, so we'll see. Um, So he's like, "No, I'm not sick." And he was talking to him. He's like, I lost some people that I love this year. Lost 2 people. He was like, in the same year, this year? He's like, yeah, I lost. And Ronnie was like, this year? And he was like, yeah. So he walks off, and they end up at, like they're just showering hole. And he takes his clothes off, and he doesn't take all of his clothes off. He still has his Speedo on. Little pink Speedo, and it's really pretty. And he's rinsing off, and it's hot. I can only imagine how hot it is in Miami. He takes his clothes off. He is talking to him about Versace and how they were engaged, and he's there to see him because they're still good friends. And it's like, no, you're not. I highly doubt that you are. Um, I highly doubt that you are. Sorry, I had a brain fart. Um, so he was like, oh, okay. They was talking about the clothes, and he was like, I don't really like his clothes. And he was like, but he's a genius. He made his own fabric Oraton when he couldn't find a fabric that he wanted, he made Oraton so that it could fit a woman, and even on the hottest day, she would be cool. And I was like, oh, that's nice. I never knew that. I didn't know anything about Oraton. So I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm learning something. I'm going to look it up just to make sure. Because, they put stuff on TV. It might not be that true. But Ronnie was still like, I still don't like it. And he's like, well, whatever. And he was like, Gianni is the man that I could have been. And Ronnie was like, you mean the man you could have been with? And he was like, oh, yeah. I'm like, yeah, you have like a single white female thing going on about you. You're very stalkish. It's very creepy. So they get on the beach. Ronnie is showing Andy the ropes. There's an older gentleman who is looking for Bussy. He's looking for, some boy playtime. And he's looking at Andy, and Andy's looking at him, at this older gentleman, and Andy is telling Ronnie, don't worry about money. I take care of my friends. This one is on me. So he was like, okay. And Andy goes with Ronnie, goes with the older gentleman, and they're talking for a little while, and then they go to his hotel room. They get into the hotel room. Andy asks him, how many workers have you employed? He was like 5,000 globally. And the older man sat on the bed. He was like, I can be submissive. And Andy was like, you have no idea. And I was like, I hope he doesn't kill him. He's gonna kill him. Like, oh God. But see, this is what you get for cheating. That's why you don't cheat, okay? Because Andrew Cunanan is why you don't cheat. I'm like, you taking your wedding ring off, messing around with these boys. You just need to go ahead and be you. I know he's older, so he comes from a time where he couldn't be him, but, except for, I think they could have been him in France. You should have just took your ass to France, because that wasn't worth it. So then, Andrew, he gets naked, and I love the song, Easy Lover starts playing. He's sitting on old boy's chest. He takes some tape and wraps it around old boy's head. I'm like, this is not gonna end well. And he blocks out all his breathing passages, and he's dancing around Easy Lover, which is a very good song. Old boy can't breathe. His airways are constricted and whatnot. And Andrew was like, take it, just take it, accept it. I'm like, nobody wants to accept this. I want to accept oxygen. That's what I want to accept. I want to accept oxygen. This is not oxygen. I will not accept this. This is not acceptable. So then he eventually, after 2 minutes of dancing or so, he jumps on top of the man and stabs a hole in the tape. And I'm like, this motherfucker is nuts. I can't do this. I sincerely can't. I can't do this with him. Um, so, he's eating. They got, after the ordeal of their sexual encounter, he's eating. He's ordered room service, and he's talking about his mom when he was younger. He used to send him to school with lobster and some type of butter or something that would the same size as a gram of cocaine or something that she would wrap up. Something, I don't know. It sounds like he did have a privileged life when he was in school. His father, from my understanding of research, his father did work very hard. He had him in like a Porsche, and he had him in boarding school. He was very spoiled, so he might have gotten lobster like that when he was in school. He might not have, because Andrew lies so much, you don't know what he's gotten and what he hasn't, quite frankly, because he lies so much, you just don't know. So, he gets done telling him this story. He gets up, he drinks, he drops his glass, and he walks out the room. Obviously, he's gotten paid for his services, and he's done with the old man. The old man is scared shitless. Just scared shitless. And he closes the door immediately. He locks it. He immediately goes and puts his wedding ring on. And he's just like, he goes to call the cops. And he was like, they were like, oh, is there anything wrong? What's your emergency? And he really couldn't say anything because, he was cheating on his wife with a man, a young man. And it's like, cheating on your wife with a woman, people expect that, especially from older men, because you just came from that type of time that you cheated and it was what it was. But cheating on your wife with a man, it might not be acceptable, Um, so he can't even say what's wrong when they get online, on the phone line, and he has to say there's nothing wrong. I really feel like if he was able to call and tell them what it was, it would have blew his spot up, but Gianni wouldn't have been murdered, and there wouldn't have been any further harm. Who knows who else he murdered? He could have murdered 2 other people and nobody would have known. So, I don't know. So, Andy goes to his friend. They go to the trap house. They get I think it's some crack because they had a crack pipe. They get some crack. They get high. Andy goes to the bathroom. He's tying the tape around his head on some BDSM type level. And Ronnie is talking to him about opening up a flower kiosk. Because I think Ronnie really does like him. But again, when you're dealing with somebody whose health is somewhat compromised, it's not that you can't be with them. It's just, you just have different questions, especially at that time. Now I think there's more options where you can be with somebody whose health is compromised, and it won't be a big deal. It won't be a risk to your health. But in like 97, I don't know all of what they had. So I was 4 in 97, so I really didn't know. So he was talking to him about having a flower kiosk. He came out and he was like, I'm gonna take a shower. And Ronnie was like, okay. Like, he got a tape all around his face. He's like, alright. Okay, buddy. If you want to take a shower, nobody's gonna stop you from taking a shower. He comes out. Ronnie's still waiting for him. Ronnie's smoking, and Ronnie's like, hey, man, we're out. I'm like, how much did you smoke, and how much did y'all buy? So, he's like, okay, I can go get some more. Ronnie is waiting for Andy. Andy goes to that Cash on the Beach store, and there's a lady in the store. She was a lady, her name is, I think it's Kathy McGillan or something. The lady in the store, she played on Casper. She was the evil lady, Card Callaghan, or Gilligan or Gillian or some in one of them shits. I don't know. And she's like, "Where'd you get this coin from?" He was like, "Oh, it's a long story." And she just looked at him sideways. And as he's filling out his paperwork, she's looking on the FBI list. But because that just ridiculously idiotic FBI agent did not put those FBI posters out, now she doesn't know that he is wanted, so she thinks he's just a regular guy. Now she does report him because he seems suspicious, but it kind of is what it is. Um, so he gets the money. He goes to a place, a little restaurant. He gets like a tuna sandwich or tuna combo, and a brother is at the he's one of the cashiers is an old white gentleman, and one of the cashiers is a young black brother, young black man, and he sees him and he's real calm. He's like, "Oh yeah, it's $2.99, it's $3." So he gives him some money. He's like, "Oh, keep the change." He's like, "Oh, okay, cool." He's like, "I'll be right back." He asks the older man, "Can you cover me real quick?" He goes in the back. He calls the police. He's like, "Listen, there's a young white man here. I don't know who he is, but I saw his face on America's Most Wanted. So, I saw him. Y'all need to come send everybody right now." So they came. I think either Andrew got his food or he knew that they were there. And by the time they came in, it's like Andrew was right here. Oh boy, the young black guy was right here, and the cops were right here. And when they were coming in, all you heard was ding ding, like the little bells on the door. They were coming in, and as soon as they came in, he left. And I was like, why don't y'all have people in the front? I hate you. See, this is why nobody like y'all. You don't never do your job right. You're supposed to cover the front and the back. What are you doing? You suck. Two of these, man. What are you doing? Pissed me off. So he got away. He goes to check Gianni's house. Nobody's there. Oh no, when he goes to check Gianni's house the first time, Gianni is there, and this I think this young lady, she's in drag. I'm not sure if she's trans or if it's a man that's in drag. I'm not sure which one at that time. But she comes up to the house and she's like, I'm Donatella, Gianni, baby, let me in. And he's like, no, sweetie, I can only handle one Donatella. I thought it was kind of cute and it was funny. And, it just showed how nice he was, and he was real impressive, impressionable and all the rest of that. And, he seemed to be real nice, is what everybody kept saying. So, Andrew was watching him. Andrew went back to the hotel. He went back to Ronnie, and he was like, I'm leaving, and such and so I'll see. He's like, will I ever see you again? He said, more than likely you will. He was like, I bet you don't have that money. And he came back and he reached in his backpack. Now, I thought that he was going to shoot him, but he gave him the money. And he was like, well, we were good together. Do you think, do you consider me as your friend? He was like, if anybody ever asks, we're not friends. Just if they ever ask. And he was like, okay. And he just kind of stood there pitifully, Like he just left him there like he left the old boy in the first episode at U.S. Berkeley. He was like, I'm not impressive, but I'm nice and I'm kind, I'm smart, I can be here for you. I can, he's like, I want to be yours. And he's like, yeah, you cool, but you ain't Gianni. I'm like, well, that is fucked up. Well, all right. So then he leaves him. He goes to the house. He doesn't see Gianni. Now, as Andrew is on his way to Gianni and Antonio, they leave to go to Club Twist. So they get in Club Twist. They see, everybody. They hanging out. They're having a good time. They in the club. They kicking it. They're celebrities. And they walk in and they see a little young gentleman. He's in a cage. He's dancing with a little golden wings on. And he's just very fit. He's very beautiful. He goes and he sits down. And Gianni and Antonio are watching. And they're watching the young gentleman. I got a vibe. The YouTuber James Caldwell, he was saying that Antonio wasn't trying to take old boy home because he's younger and he's much hotter, and sometimes when you're younger and hotter, and you bring people home a lot, you can get replaced by the person you brought home. So he was like that night. He was like, "No, I don't know about that one because Gianni is feeling him a little bit too much." And I agree with James on that one because I'm like, he did seem like normally he's down to bring people back home. And I don't think they should have kept swinging if Gianni's health was compromised like that. I don't believe they should have kept swinging. I think that was real wrong, personally. I'm like, I don't know about that. But they didn't bring anybody home. Earlier in the episode, they did bring someone home. Antonio did. And he went to Gianni and he was like, well, come and play with us, And Gianni was like, no, I'm working. Go ahead and have your fun. Have your fun. So in the morning, they went swimming, and Antonio was like, oh, I want you and only you. I want to be married to you. And he was like, you say that in the morning, but can you say that at night? So when they got out of the club, and later on in the episode, when they got out of the club, and Antonio told Gianna, I only want you. I want to marry you, and I'm done with this life. I'm done with all this fast living and all these people that we swinging with. And you could see that Gianni was really elated. He was holding it in for a little bit, but the moment they walked away, you could see him smiling. He was straight up cheesing from ear to ear. So, they walked off, and they was kicking it, and they was laughing and happy. When they were in the club, Andrew was coming into Club Twist. And they left, and Andrew was still looking for them. And so Andrew, he's walking through. None of the fruitcake. He's just insane. Just insane. Just fucking insane. And he's looking for them. He's looking for Gianni avidly, and he cannot find Gianni. He can't find him for nothing in this world. So he walks through, and as he's walking, there's a young gentleman, young white guy. He's really cute. He's, fit, all of that. He's just real cute. And the guy walks up to him. He was like, hey, I forget what he said his name was, but he's like, what's your name? He's like, my name is Andy. And he's like, what do you do? Andy he's insufferable. He gonna say, I'm a serial killer. He's like, what? I was like, so we just going, I'm like, second episode, and I knew what type of season this was going to be when they killed Gianni on the first episode. I was like, well, you ain't going to give me 3 episodes. You just going to kill him then, huh? Like, all right, well, I'm ready for it. I'm not ready for this. He goes, oh, I'm a serial killer. He's like, what? He's like, oh, no, I'm a banker. I write books. I'm a cop. I'm a naval officer. I build skyscrapers in Chicago. I sell propane in Minnesota. I sell pineapples in the Philippines. I'm the least likely to be forgotten. I'm Andrew Cunanan. I liked how that rhymed. But I'm like, yeah, you're crazy. In all the best ways for entertainment and the worst ways for real life. You are nuts. And that was the end of the show. I couldn't take it. I just couldn't take it. He just really was out there. He's just loony as a loon bat. But, y'all let me know what else y'all want me to review. I'm going to review the 3rd episode of Gianni Versace real quick. Won't be real quick because it's an hour, so you know how that goes. But, yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe below. And I will see you guys next time. Love you guys. Peace out.